Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Deepika, and coming up in the next 1 hour. Israel and Hamas reach ceasefire deal to end 15 months of conflict. Complete implementation to begin on 19th January. 33 hostages to be released in first phase. Netanyahu thanks Biden and Trump for cooperation. While Trump claims credit as moving force, Biden lauds his diplomacy behind the deal. World leaders welcome hostage ceasefire deal, expresses hope it will endure. Biden delivers farewell address, capping a 5-decade political career, assures peaceful transition of power to Donald Trump. Visiting Singapore President Tharman Shanmugaratnam to meet his Indian counterpart in New Delhi will also meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A very good morning to all our viewers joining us here at DD India News Hour. To begin with the biggest and the latest update. Now, Qatar, Egypt and the United States announced that Hamas and Israel have reached a multi-phased deal that halts the conflict in Gaza and leads to the release of Israeli captives in the territory. Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani announced that negotiators had reached a deal on Wednesday for a ceasefire in the Gaza conflict. Addressing a press conference, the Qatari Prime Minister said both Israel and Hamas agreed to exchange prisoners and hostages. Qatar also announced an agreement for the delivery of humanitarian aid to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip.
Qatar, the Arab Republic of Egypt and the United States are happy to announce the success of joint mediation efforts in order to reach a deal between the parties in conflict in the Gaza territory, to exchange prisoners and hostages, and a return to a prolonged truce that achieves a permanent ceasefire between the two sides. The implementation of the agreement will begin on Sunday, January 19th.
The Qatari Prime Minister further said the deal will begin with a 42-day period that would see the release of 33 Israeli captives and a number of Palestinian prisoners.
The first phase of the agreement, which will last for 42 days, will witness a ceasefire and the withdrawal of Israeli forces to the east and away from the populated areas to be stationed on the border in all areas of the Gaza Strip. The exchange of prisoners and hostages according to a specific mechanism, the exchange of the remains of the deceased and the return of the displaced to their places of residence.
Now, confirming the Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal, US President Joe Biden said the deal will end the fighting in Gaza and surge humanitarian aid to Palestinian civilians. Biden termed it one of the toughest negotiations of his life.
I can announce a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached between Israel and Hamas. More than 15 months of conflict. Well, we've had many difficult days since Hamas began its terrible war. We've encountered roadblocks and setbacks. We've not given up. And now, after more than 400 days of struggle, a day of success has arrived. Fighting in Gaza will stop, and soon the hostages will return home to their families.
Now, US President-elect Donald Trump has welcomed the deal. In a social media post, Donald Trump said his national security team will continue to work closely with Israel and other allies to make sure Gaza never again becomes a terrorist safe haven. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu thanked US President Joe Biden and US President-elect Donald Trump for securing the Gaza truce and hostage release deal. In a phone call, Netanyahu thanked US President-elect Donald Trump for securing a hostages deal and putting an end to the suffering of dozens of hostages and their families. Netanyahu agreed to meet Trump soon in Washington. The Israeli Prime Minister also thanked US President Joe Biden for his help in the hostages deal in a phone call. Israeli President Isaac Herzog, in a televised address on Wednesday, said that Gaza deal was the right move to bring all the captives back home. Herzog said the deal will bring difficult, agonizing and extremely moving moments. He also thanked US President Biden and the President-elect Donald Trump for their efforts. Now, families and friends of Israeli hostages hugged and lit torches in a demonstration in Tel Aviv after negotiators reached a multi-phased Gaza deal. Several videos surfaced on social media showing people gathering in groups, hugging and taking photos with their mobile phones to mark the announcement and celebrate it. They say the nightmare of more than a year is finally coming to an end. Crowds took to the streets of Khan Younis to celebrate the truce deal. People cheered, danced and blew horns to mark the 6-week initial ceasefire deal that includes the gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. And to discuss more on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Anil Thomas. Anil, a very good morning to you. Now, the much-awaited temporary ceasefire deal has been agreed upon. Celebrations are taking place in the crucial regions as well. Tell us the significance of this deal and how is it going to pan out in a phased manner?
Well, good morning, Deepika. Well, this particular deal was very much on the horizon since the beginning of New Year. And, this particular ceasefire now coming into play, at least starting from 19th, that's Saturday. So clearly that's something that people are looking forward to, especially on how this particular deal will pan out, since it would take place on the 19th. Remember, we've almost seen 467 days of hardships, trials and tribulations and an area or conflict that these two places have witnessed. If you look purely in terms of casualties, close to 1,100 and still counting, that Israel have lost civilians as well as soldiers. On the Gaza side, you have almost 46,000 people, over 46,000 people that have been killed, over 1 lakh people that have been injured. So numbers in terms of casualties very much high on the Gaza side of the Palestinian strip. And also when you look at West Bank, close to 852 people that have been killed there, which include many children and civilians too. So this particular turmoil, this particular trial and tribulation, that's almost been now for almost over 15 months, clearly seeing some kind of I would say pause or hitting a speed breaker with this particular ceasefire. This ceasefire is broken into 3 different parts. The first part is very important because 33 people who are in captive will be released. And it's very interesting when one takes a look at the deal, because the way the deal has been panned out, it looks very much that Israel, there is no objection that Israel would have, especially when it comes to the deal, because it suits them in every possible way. Let's look at it. 33 Israeli detainees, or you would say captives, that would be released. What will Israel give in exchange? That's something that's interesting. For every women soldier that's been released, close to 50 Palestinians captives will be released. And for every other person that's been released from the captive by Palestine or from the Gaza Strip, you're going to get 30 people in return. So it's a good deal that works perfectly fine for either sides. And also with regards to humanitarian aid, this comes as a big relief for UN, who has been time and again trying to, broker some kind of a deal or some kind of a ceasefire here. Close to 600 unarmed now vans can enter into, this particular Palestinian strip and help people, especially in the northern part or the northern strip of Palestine. I think that's important because civilians, especially children and people, have been displaced. And I think this particular truce window that's been opened, this particular truce window that begins in a few days from time, we'll have to wait and watch how things play out till then, till the date arrives. But I think a time to introspect, a time to celebrate for people on both sides.
Indeed. Now, this also comes at a crucial time for the US, and especially by the US playing an important role here. But the Israel cabinet is yet to reach a final approval. What next are we expecting?
Well, there are 2 things to look at. First, who did Benjamin Netanyahu call first? Who was the first person that he called in the United States? And that's clearly from the communication that's drawn out that he's called Donald Trump, the incoming president, the 47th president of America, followed by a call to Joe Biden, the 2 people that he spoke to, Benjamin Netanyahu. First, you need to understand the reasons why he's done it. You've got Donald Trump's Middle East negotiator there, working simultaneously along with the Trump administration in striking this deal. So, the reasons for Benjamin Netanyahu to thank both incoming president as well as outgoing president of United States of America. Within the Israeli cabinet, there is still problems to be sorted out. The finance minister don't seem to be on the same page, especially when it comes to the deal. He doesn't believe this particular deal is needed. But having said that, he doesn't have the numbers to push for this deal to somewhere hit a roadblock. And that's where things stand. And that's where Benjamin Netanyahu, looks almost certain that though the fighting continues on the Gaza Strip as we speak, there has been some kind of bombardment that's taken place, but still unconfirmed reports. But all in all, Benjamin Netanyahu has no reason now to say no to this particular ceasefire deal. I think it works perfectly for him. It gives him a window. It gives him a leeway where he comes out as a hero for his people of Israel, and also for the world, because the world has been looking with bated breath, when could we see an end to this particular conflict that's now, that's gone beyond a year. I think New Year brings good tidings for both the people of Israel, the people of Gaza, and also for the world.
All right. Thank you so much, Anil, for joining us and bringing us the latest on the ceasefire deal that has been agreed on the ongoing Israel-Gaza conflict. So now we tell you all about the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal. Let's take a look at it. We'll quickly bring you the quick and important facts that we need to know about the current Gaza ceasefire deal, which has been agreed upon. The Israel cabinet is yet to approve it, but this comes at a very crucial time because we also heard the US president and his last speech on the day when he was about to deliver his last speech. This crucial moment came in. Now, global leaders welcomed the much-awaited historical ceasefire deal, ending a 15-month-long conflict in Gaza. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has welcomed the ceasefire and stressed that the priority now must be to ease the tremendous suffering caused by this conflict. And hailing the truce deal, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said both the parties must fully implement this agreement as a stepping stone towards lasting stability in the region and a diplomatic resolution of the conflict. And President of the International Committee of the Red Cross expressed hope that this agreement marks a new beginning. The Red Cross has said it is ready to help and implement the ceasefire agreement and facilitate the release of captives along with the prisoners. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi pointed to the importance of accelerating the entry of urgent humanitarian aid into Gaza as he welcomed a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. Sisi said the deal came after the strenuous efforts over more than a year of Egyptian, Qatari and US mediation. Now, Australia also welcomed the ceasefire agreement in Gaza, with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese calling it a constructive step towards peace and stability in the region. We are heading for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Cuba begins releasing prisoners following Biden announcements. President Yoon Suk-yeol claims arrest warrant is illegal. And we'll get you the latest update on evacuations in Indonesia.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now, outgoing US President Joe Biden delivered his farewell speech from the Oval Office of the White House a short while ago. In his speech, he stressed on the need to strengthen democracy, saying that oligarchy is taking place and a dangerous concentration of power among a few wealthy people in the United States is gaining ground. Now, the 82-year-old politician of the Democratic Party also said that no president should be immune from crimes committed in his office. However, he assured that he would ensure smooth transition of power on the 20th of January.
Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies. Artificial intelligence is the most consequential technology of our time, perhaps of all time. Nothing offers more profound possibilities and risk for our economy and our security, our society, for humanity.
Joe Biden, who will retire from active politics after the 20th of January, also cautioned the barrage of misinformation on the people. He especially criticized Meta's plan to stop fact-check of the information put in social media.
And I wish the incoming administration success, because I want America to succeed. That's why I've upheld my duty to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition of power, to ensure we lead by the power of our example. I have no doubt that America is in a position to continue to succeed. That's why my farewell address tonight, I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern. This is a dangerous that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. And the dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead.
Amit Mukherjee now joins us from New Delhi to discuss more on this. Good morning, Amit. Now, a significant move by the Biden administration before the wrap-up of his term as the president. But Joe Biden has also raised flags on other US-related issues as well in his farewell speech, ranging from AI to oligarchy. Take us through the major highlights of his speech, Amit.
That is correct, Deepika. In fact, it has been a very, very elaborate speech by the outgoing president, as it has always been in the history of America, where, he covered the legacy of America, the achievements of his administration, of the Biden administration in the last 4 years, some of the concerns which are actually plaguing America right now, and also the challenges that that the US will have to face, going forward. Of course, he started his speech, of course, with the biggest achievement, because the Hamas and Israel conflict has been raging for almost 15 months now. And so he started, in fact, that was the opening line of his speech, where he said that his administration has been able to kind of struck that peace deal in that Middle East region, West Asia, and now Hamas and Israel are on the final negotiations to kind of exchange hostages and bring peace in that region. He also, of course, he said that American technology is one of the best technologies in the world, and particularly the rise of artificial intelligence. The technological breakthroughs that are happening in artificial intelligence are phenomenal, but at the same time, he said that it is time that all these technologies needs to be checked at some point in time. Otherwise, on one hand, it can create a society, on the other hand, it can also destroy, the very, fabric of a society. So artificial intelligence was also one of the concerns that he raised. Of course, climate change. If you look at he highlighted the fact that, what America right now is witnessing from California to North Carolina. He talked about the climate changes, the uncertainty about climate changes, and he also took the, accolade of saying that his administration has signed so far the most, significant climate and clean energy law, which not only safeguards, the future threats from climate change, but it also promises to take the economy forward. At the same time, where the economy is taken care of and profits are generated. So that is the kind of law his administration has generated, he said, in the last 4 years. He also said that, a lot of administrative measures which the Biden administration, his administration has taken, will take some time before it takes effect. But of course, he never, backed out from enlisting a lot of achievements, which he says, he claims that America achieved in the 4 years of his administration. For instance, 17 million jobs were created, he's claimed, which is so far the largest, by job creations that has been delivered by any administration. He also talked about large number of people have been brought under, the largest number of people are now under the, medical insurance and medical covers. He also talked about, a lot of, of course, he mentioned about Ukraine also. Ukraine is still independent. That is also what he mentioned, because of course we shouldn't forget that the Biden administration has been backing Ukraine in a big way as far as the its war with Russia is concerned. Also, another thing that he talked about, social media, of course, that's a big change. That's a big thing that he talked about. He said that how social media was being utilized, by people to kind of give out misinformation just to grab the seat of power and wealth. So these are some of the concerns he raised. And he says that the Americans should stand by looking at the 250-year-old history of American democracy. He again appealed to the American people to stand by democracy. It can be frustrating, he said, but they should not give up the idea of democracy. And, also he mentioned about the Statue of Liberty, which has been a symbol of resilience as far as America is concerned. Deepika?
All right. Thank you, Amit, for joining us and bringing us a quick, detailed analysis of Biden's farewell speech. Now, South Korea's anti-corruption agency said on Thursday that impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol's arrest period of 48 hours has been temporarily paused while a court reviews the arrest's legality. The Seoul Central District Court is set to examine on Thursday whether Yoon's arrest was appropriate after Yoon's lawyers sought a ruling by the court. Yoon, the first sitting South Korean president to be arrested, was taken to the Seoul Detention Center on Wednesday evening after refusing to cooperate, where he was expected to have spent the night in a solitary cell. The authorities have 48 hours to question the suspended president, after which they must seek a warrant to detain him for up to 20 days or release him. Now, Yoon has up to now refused to talk with the investigators who had prepared a questionnaire of more than 200 pages. His lawyers have said the arrest warrant is illegal because it was issued by a court in the wrong jurisdiction and the team set up to investigate him had no legal mandate to do so. Now, separate from the criminal investigation, the Constitutional Court will hold second hearing on Thursday of Yoon's impeachment trial. Senator Marco Rubio, President-elect Donald Trump's pick to be the U.S. Secretary of State, said that both Russia and Ukraine will need to make concessions to end the conflict in Ukraine.
In order to achieve objectives like the one that needs to occur in Ukraine, it is important for everyone to be realistic. There will have to be concessions made by the Russian Federation, but also by the Ukrainians, and the United States lend itself there. It's also important that there be some balance on both sides. In essence, it will be difficult to achieve this objective of a ceasefire and ultimately a peace settlement unless both sides have leverage.
Now, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov stated that Russia is willing to discuss security guarantees for Ukraine, but emphasized the need to address broader security concerns in order to resolve the ongoing conflict. Lavrov said removing threats on Russia's western borders is crucial as they are a key cause of the conflict, adding these threats can only be addressed through broader agreements. Further, he said Ukraine is being used to undermine Russia's position in the European security system. Now, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Kyiv had brought home 25 people in a prisoner exchange with Russia. The Ukrainian coordination headquarters released a video showcasing returned prisoners of war arriving in Ukraine. Zelensky thanked United Arab Emirates for their assistance in prisoner swap. Earlier, Russia's defense ministry said that a 25 for 25 prisoner of war exchange had been conducted with mediation from the United Arab Emirates. Moving on, Canada is considering retaliatory tariffs on the US goods if President-elect Donald Trump puts tariffs on Canadian goods and services. Now, Canada has drawn up a list of targets but would hold public consultations before acting, said a source, adding the extent of any potential reaction would depend on what Trump does next. Now, Trump says he wants to impose a 25% tariff to push Canada to tighten border security to stem the flow of illegal migrants and cut fentanyl smuggling, a move that would appear to violate a free trade deal. Now, such a move would be crippling given Canada sends 75% of all goods and services exports to the United States. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer meets his Malaysian counterpart Anwar Ibrahim at 10 Downing Street for talks on strengthening the long-standing relationship between the two countries. The meeting comes as Ibrahim announces a £4 billion investment by the Malaysian company YTL to be made in the UK over the next 5 years, according to a press release from the British Department for Business and Trade. The talks primarily focused on enhancing trade relations, investing opportunities and collaborations in various sectors, including infrastructure and technology. Cuba began releasing prisoners jailed following anti-government protests in 2021. The decision came after the Biden administration said it would remove Cuba from its terrorism blacklist and ease sanctions imposed on the island after a series of diplomatic discussions between the United States and Cuba. Just 1 hour after the U.S. announcement, Cuban President Miguel Diaz also announced his government planned to gradually release 553 prisoners following talks with Pope Francis. Former Venezuelan President candidate Edmundo Gonzalez met with Venezuelan citizens living in Guatemala, telling them to get ready to return home soon. Venezuelan opposition leader Gonzalez landed in Guatemala 4 days after the inauguration of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to a third term. Gonzalez, who claims victory in his country's presidential elections, says during the meeting that the government of Nicolas Maduro is alone but still dangerous. Now, Gonzalez invited the Venezuelan diaspora to get ready to return home. He added that the opposition is waiting for the right moment to assume the presidency. Earlier in January, Maduro was declared the winner of July's election by both Venezuela's electoral authority and top court, though detailed tallies confirming his victory have never been published. However, opposition says ballot box level tallies show a landslide victory for its former candidate Gonzalez, who is recognized as the president-elect by several countries, including the United States. Vanuatu, a small island nation in Oceania, is holding a snap general election, a contest dismissed by some as a distraction, while various citizens rebuilt from a deadly tremor last month. Vanuatu has for decades been beset by political instability, swapping prime ministers 20 times between the year 1991 and 2017. The tumult reached crisis levels at the end of 2023 when 3 prime ministers rotated through the top office in the space for a month. Vanuatu's parliament was dissolved in November before disgruntled MPs launched a no-confidence motion designed to topple Prime Minister Charlotte Salvai. Recently, the Pacific nation is in news after a 7.3 magnitude earthquake rumbled through Vanuatu on 17th of December, rupturing the roads, toppling buildings in capital Port Vila and killing at least 14 people. Now in Los Angeles, firefighters on Wednesday confronted persistently strong and dry winds, fueling 2 giant wildfires that have terrified Los Angeles for 8 days. Officials have urged the residents to remain vigilant and be prepared to evacuate at a moment's notice, with peak wind gusts forecast to last through Thursday afternoon. Some 6.5 million people remained under a critical fire threat after the fires consumed an area nearly the size of Washington, D.C., resulting in at least 25 deaths so far. The fires have damaged or destroyed more than 12,000 homes and other structures and forced as many as 200,000 people from their homes. Some 82,400 people were under evacuation orders and another 90,400 faced evacuation warnings as of Wednesday. Indonesian authorities have begun evacuating villagers after Mount Ibu erupted in eastern Indonesia, spewing a towering column of smoke and ash into the atmosphere. Located on the remote island of Halmahera, the volcano has erupted for a fifth time this year. The volcano's alert status was subsequently raised by the highest level of Indonesia's geological agency. Local authorities evacuated approximately 3,000 residents from nearby villages on Wednesday evening. Residents living near Mount Ibu and tourists have been advised to avoid a 5 to 6 kilometer exclusion zone around the volcano's peak and to wear face masks in case of falling ash. We are heading for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll take you live to magnificent Mahakumbh. Cold conditions intensify across northern India. National Startup Day today to celebrate nation's strides in fostering a robust and inclusive entrepreneurial ecosystem. Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now, marking the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between India and Singapore, the island country's president Tharman Shanmugaratnam is on a high-profile state visit to India. During his visit, he met India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in New Delhi. Both the leaders discussed ways to boost cooperation in semiconductors, industrial parks, skilling, digitalization and trade development. Tharman Shanmugaratnam's first visit to India as the President of Singapore will add new momentum to comprehensive strategic partnership between the two nations. Now, Singapore's President will be accorded a ceremonial welcome at the forecourt of the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Thursday. Later, he is scheduled to meet President and Prime Minister of India. India and Singapore have extensive cooperation based on a long tradition of friendship, trust and mutual respect. Moving on, as the Indian Meteorological Department has issued a yellow alert for Delhi for the 16th of January, warning against dense fog conditions on Thursday also intensifies. The national capital woke up to small episodes of rain showers that may further intensify cold weather conditions in the national capital and the adjoining areas. The Weather Department's forecast also expected the predominant surface wind to be from the southeast direction at a speed of less than 4 kilometers per hour during the morning. It is said that the wind speed will gradually increase to 6 to 8 kilometers per hour from south in the afternoon before falling to less than 4 kilometers per hour from the northeast during the evening and night hours. And following a significant dip in air quality attributed to calm winds, low temperatures and dense fog, Stage 4 restrictions under the Graded Response Action Plan has been imposed in Delhi NCR. Stage 4 measures include a complete halt to construction activities, prohibition of non-essential diesel truck entries, and the mandatory adoption of hybrid learning models for schools, excluding classes 10th and 12th. Additionally, Delhi registered BS4 and older diesel-run heavy good vehicles, except those involved in essential services, are now banned. And on the other hand, Kashmir continued to bask in bright sunshine while nighttime temperatures witnessed a drop, with Srinagar, the summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir, recording the minimum temperature of minus 4.8 degrees Celsius on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the Met Department has predicted dry and cloudy weather until Thursday, with a weak western disturbance bringing light to moderate snowfall in higher reaches. And Tahir Nadeem Khan joins us from Jammu and Kashmir's Bhadarwah district. Good morning, Tahir. Now we've reached the peak winter conditions across most part of northern India. What is the current weather condition there in Kashmir, Tahir?
Very good morning, Deepika. As you know, today is the 27th day of the 40-day long intense winter cold. And right now it has started raining here, and you can see behind me all the higher ridges and mountains are covered with thick clouds, and as far we have got the information that at higher ridges snowfall has already started, and we hope in a couple of hours here in the valley snowfall will start here as well. The weather condition has not improved so far because the cold wave condition persists, and it has even intensified at several places, and in both in Kashmir Valley and Chenab Valley. At several weather stations, the night temperature plummeted further to several degrees, several notches below freezing point. As in Bhadarwah, it recorded last night temperature was recorded at minus 5.2 degrees Celsius. And right now it is past 8:30 a.m. and the temperature here right now is minus 3 degree a.m. So the best thing is that according to weather department, who have predicted that on Thursday it will start raining and snow in the higher reaches, and that has come true because previously on 11th and 12th, when weather department predicted that there will be heavy snowfall in the upper reaches and light snowfall in the valleys, but the area remained devoid of both snow and rain. But today it has already starting raining in the valleys, and snowfall has started in the higher reaches like Guldanda, Chatargala, Jai, Kansar, and other areas, Sindhan top of Kishtwar, and even Gulmarg area of Kashmir. That's a satisfying thing because people think that after snowfall and rain, the weather may improve and they will get some relief from and respite from this cold weather condition which is going on since last 1 month, as the entire Kashmir Valley and Chenab Valley is in sub-zero territory.
How is it posing a challenge to daily lives there in the sub-district of Bhadarwah, Tahir?
Obviously, Deepika, as this cold wave conditions have been going on since last month, it is very difficult for the locals to reside in these conditions because the water bodies, the most important thing is water bodies have even got dried up because this is dry cold. There is no snowfall. There was only snowfall on 28th of December. That was a light snowfall. The water bodies have got dried, but the water bodies which are there, but they have got frozen. Due to that, the potable water supply has got badly affected. And in this cold wave condition, people, especially in towns, are dependent on electronic gadgets, and there is erratic power supply because load on power sector has increased manifold, due to which there are power outages, there are scheduled and unscheduled power cuts. Due to that, people are facing a lot of problems. And yes, the main thing is there are some health issues as well. People are facing health issues, and doctors have said that this is very worrying that that strokes, heart attacks, heart failures, and lung infections have increased manifold during last 1 month. And owing to that, doctors have even come up with an advisory for the locals and visitors and tourists as well, that they should not expose themselves to long periods of cold that can lead to hypothermia, which is the main cause of constriction in blood vessels that leads to myocardial infarction, or in simple words you can say heart attacks. So people are finding it a little difficult to cope up with this longer period of this cold wave condition and sub-zero temperature. But yes, they are hopeful that after snowfall, the conditions may improve a bit.
All right. Thank you so much, Tahir, for joining us and bringing us latest from Srinagar. And now it's time to get you all the latest news and updates from the Mahakumbh, the largest and the oldest religious congregation across the world. Now, Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj is witnessing lakhs of devotees taking holy dip in Triveni Sangam, the confluence of holy rivers Ganga, Yamuna and mythical Saraswati. On Wednesday, lakhs of devotees braving biting cold conditions and dense fog took holy dip. Despite it was not a major bathing day, devotees and religious sects from across the country and abroad gathered in large numbers to attend the Mahakumbh festival. And to get us more, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Siddharth Bharadwaj straight from Prayagraj. Good morning to you, Siddharth. We can see so many colorful visuals coming in from Mahakumbh, and each hour is creating its own history. Tell us the latest that you are tracking from Mahakumbh today, Siddharth. Can you hear me, Siddharth? Are you getting my audio? There you can see the beautiful visuals emerging from Prayagraj, where the Mahakumbh festival, the oldest and the largest congregation of devotees, is taking place. It is so far the largest across the world, where you can see millions of devotees gathering at one single point, celebrating spirituality. One of a kind example of how spirituality gains momentum across India, and such visuals are only seen in India when we talk about the grandeur of the Mahakumbh festival. Despite caste, creed, color, religion, many people from all across the world join in to celebrate the largest congregation, the celebration of spirituality, where you can see many ascetics, many gurus joining in to celebrate spiritualism and take the holy dip there in Mahakumbh festival, which is celebrated once in 12 years in Prayagraj. And this time it is even more historic, even more special, because it is happening after 144 years. The planet's alignment is such which is happening after 144 years, that makes it even more special this time. And interestingly, for the first time, pilgrims visiting the Triveni Sangam in Prayagraj for the Mahakumbh will have a unique opportunity to circumambulate all 12 Jyotirlings of Lord Shiva. This will be possible and thanks to the newly built Shivalaya Park. Watch the special report by DD India correspondent Siddharth Bharadwaj straight from Prayagraj.
Mahakumbh 2025, large influx of tourists, devotees, pilgrims are coming on the holy land of Prayagraj. I am here at Arail Ghat, and this is a very special place. This is called Shivalaya Park. Now, what is unique about Shivalaya Park is the very fact that you have 12 Jyotirling in this place, and people who are coming here can get darshan of all the 12 Jyotirling at one place. And also, it's ways to wonder. Everything here at this park has been built by 400 tons of recycled iron junk.
I'm here from Canada, and my first visit, and just walking into the park, I'm in awe of all the different setups over here.
This unique Shivalaya Park has built on 11 acres of land in Arail in Prayagraj at a cost of rupees 14 crore. Around 22 artists and 500 workers were engaged in building of this park. Set up on the theme of Ways to Wonder, this park is a symbol of art and cleanliness. What's unique at Shivalaya Park is that it unfolds the entire story of Samudra Manthan, or churning of the ocean. Upon entering the park, one can witness a live scene of Samudra Manthan, where Nag Vasuki is seen churning the ocean with a rope between demons and God. The creations of Nandi and Trishul further enhances the grandeur of this place.
The whole place completes the journey of being here at Kumbh.
Around 450 to 500 million people are expected to come in this mega festival, which is considered as the largest religious gathering on earth. And this is a place which certainly cannot be missed. With camera person Rakesh Kumar, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Prayagraj.
And now let's go live across to Prayagraj where Siddharth is joining us. Good morning, Siddharth. I hope you're getting our audio now. We can see so many colorful visuals coming in from Mahakumbh, and each hour, is creating its own history, its own beauty. Tell us, what exactly are you tracking from Mahakumbh today, Siddharth?
Well, a very good morning to you, Deepika, and definitely I'm getting your audio now, and the environment, and you actually said it right. Every art is creating its own history, and I'm here at Triveni Sangam, where people are coming from all walks of life to take holy dip in the confluence of River Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati, and you can see the environment is pretty electric here. On 14th of January, the first Amrit Snan of Mahakumbh 2025 was there. And now the next Amrit Snan would be on 29th of January. Now today, it's not even feeling like that it's not Amrit Snan. It's exactly looking like it's Amrit Snan. It's giving a feeling that it's Amrit Snan. So many people, so many pilgrims, so many devotees are here to take holy dip. This is believed to be the largest gathering on earth. Deepika, time and again I say that around 450 to 500 million people are expected to come in this grand festival. In fact, it is drawing international attention as well. Not just the international devotees and pilgrims, but researchers are also coming here. International researchers are also coming here, and they're researching about the fact that how such a large-scale gathering is conducted in such a streamlined manner. The tagline of this Kumbh is Divya Bhavya Digital, Deepika, which means divine, grand and digital. The focus this time around is, making this festival digital in various ways. There are QR all over the places. The pilgrims and devotees who come here can just scan the QR code, and they get to see, where to stay, where to eat, where to live, everything, every information. In fact, the map is also available. And there are some applications, AI-powered solutions like Bhashini and Sahayak, which is actually helping the pilgrims to navigate in such a large gathering. So yeah, all in all, apart from that, the security arrangements are also quite elaborate, because in the second Amrit Snan, Deepika, there are around 8 crore people who are expected to come, who are expected to visit the holy land of Prayagraj. Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, has said that the elaborate arrangements, are being made for all the devotees and pilgrims who will be coming here in the second Amrit Snan. Apart from that, everything is just, devotion is seen everywhere here. It's biting cold, but still people are taking dip in the holy waters. The temperature, the dipping temperature certainly cannot, break the enthusiasm of the people who are coming here from all walks of life. Back to you, Deepika.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, for joining us and bringing us the latest from Triveni Sangam there from Prayagraj. Now, Sanak Sanandan Das, the director of Kumbh at ISKCON, has been at the forefront for the ongoing Mahakumbh, which is a significant spiritual gathering that attracts millions of devotees from around the globe. His insights shed light on the extensive planning and spiritual significance surrounding this grand event. Take a look at this report.
The founder Acharya of ISKCON institution, Prabhupada, has visited this Kumbh twice, one in full Kumbh and once in Ardh Kumbh. How is the preparation going on, and what is all about the mega kitchen that they have created? I have with me Mr. Sanak Sanandan Das. What are the preparations that you have done for this time? Can you share some of the salient features?
Right now we have 2 mega kitchens. One is here and one is at the DSP ground, where we're feeding for the holding area for the railway station. So between the 2 kitchens yesterday, I think 1.5 lakh meals have been given. Right. And it's not ordinary meals. Whatever we cook, we first offer to our deities. Right. So we do Naivedya. So prasadam. We have prasadam, karma-free diet. Yeah.
I can see some beautiful pictures of Lord Hanuman at the gate with the robotics in place, and also the Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. And also there is a special provision for the Rath Yatra, if I am not wrong.
Yes, we have a Padiyatra card that goes out on Harinam every day to 10 and 1, and also on the Sai Snan days we take that very same Rath, because we have 2 Mahants in our society also, so we're part of Nivani Ani Akara. So we're going on the Sai Snan day with the deities and with that card in procession.
So what are you going to teach the followers who are coming and visiting this particular stall?
Yeah, we're in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Yes, the basic teaching is Achinta Beda Beda Tattva, that we are part of God, we are not God. So we're chanting Hare Krishna. Everyone hears that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
This is beautiful, scenes from the ISKCON stall here in Mahakumbh, Sector 19, with camera person Shiv Suman, Ajay Mishra for DD India, Prayagraj.
Moving on. Launched in 2016, the Startup India initiative has been a turning point for the entrepreneurial landscape in the country. As we celebrate National Startup Day today, we can see Indian startups breaking barriers across new frontiers. DD India's Taposh Bhattacharya reports. Take a look.
The entrepreneurial spirit in India has undergone a remarkable transformation over the past decade, thanks to initiatives like Startup India program. With the widespread availability of affordable internet and a young dynamic workforce, India has witnessed the rapid growth of startups across sectors like fintech, edtech, health tech and e-commerce.
For the economy, if you say, the startups are the game changers. They have created millions of jobs, attracted significant foreign investment, boosted health sectors, fintech, edtech, agri-tech. They have fostered the financial inclusion and digital adoption, empowering most and the remotest corners of the country. The startups have done a fantastic job, and India being one of the hubs which are looking into this kind of startups, the government has given us a lot of initiatives to bring the startups to that level.
India has achieved incredible milestones under the Startup India initiatives. The Startup India program has completed 9 successful years. The number of startups have surged from just 400 in 2016 to over 1.5 lakh by 2024. India is now home to more than 100 plus unicorns. 48% of these startups have at least one woman founder, driving inclusivity in innovation. 62 regulatory reforms have been introduced to simplify and empower the startup ecosystem. Today, India proudly boasts the 3rd largest startup ecosystem in the world.
The Indian startup ecosystem has been growing exponentially over the last decade. Even in the frontier technology space, like space tech, our startups have been pushing boundaries and creating new benchmarks. Thanks to the space reforms that have been introduced over the last 5 years, our Indian startup ecosystem has been able to explore new means to access space and get utility out of space.
Programs like Atal Innovation Missions are solving local challenges while making a global impact, further solidifying India's position as a hub of innovation and entrepreneurship. India's entrepreneurial landscape is transforming at an unprecedented pace. From fostering innovation to empowering inclusivity, the nation is cementing its place as a global leader in the startup ecosystem. With Person Vinay, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
You're watching DD India News Hour, and now it's time to get you the latest from the world of sports. Well, the Indian men's Kho-Kho team continued to give a stunning run as they defeated Peru on Wednesday to secure a spot in the quarterfinals at the inaugural Kho-Kho World Cup 2025 edition. Continuing their impressive run in the tournament, the men in blue secured a 70-38 victory with a dominant performance that showcased their tactical superiority and athletics prowess. With this clinical 32-point victory, India not only secured their place in the quarterfinals, but also sent a clear message about their title aspirations in the tournament. The men in blue will face Bhutan on Thursday. In women's match, India secured its 2nd consecutive victory after beating Iran with a 100-16 scoreline on Wednesday. India began aggressively, eliminating Iran's first patch within just 33 seconds. Ashwini spearheaded the attack, while Meenu delivered an outstanding performance with multiple touch points, helping India accumulate 50 points in turn 1. The relentless assault continued across all 4 turns, highlighted by a spectacular 6 minutes and 8 seconds dream run in turn 3. Wazir Nirmala's tactical acumen, along with contributions from skipper Priyanka, Nirmala and Nasreen, has established India as the team to beat across the tournament. Before we let you go, it's time to get you some amazing visuals. At just 20 years old, singer-songwriter Jade Limak is making her mark on the pop music scene with her distinctive songs and authenticity. Her debut single, Constellations, written at 14, has over 61 million streams and was featured in Netflix's My Life with the Walter Boys. Limak aspires to collaborate with singer-songwriter O'Connell in the future and has modest goals for the future.
You've got a darker side, you know it's a mess, but you don't need to hide it. And you touch me places no one's ever seen. Don't leave. I chase constellations. I chase constellations.
And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.